As I'm filming this, it's November 25th, which means that I only have 5 days left to write 50,000 words of the first draft of my novel. And how is that going, you might ask? Well, the answer is, it's going horribly wrong. The likelihood of me hitting 50,000 words at the end of the month is slim to none. But that doesn't mean that we're throwing in the towel just yet. Instead, I decided that I'm gonna try to hit 25,000 words in total, which means that I have 3 days to write 20,000 words. If the math is not mathing, I completely understand, but long story short, I already know that I'm not really gonna be able to write on the last day of November or Thanksgiving Day. So yeah, that only leaves 3 workable days to try and make this happen. Is this realistic? Probably not, considering that it usually takes me at least 1 hour to squeeze out 500 words that I'm happy with. I guess I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. Okay, maybe a lot, but don't tell anyone. Anyways, so this means that I'll either have to pull 3 all-nighters and write for 72 hours straight, or I'll really need to pick up my speed somehow. I'm honestly really not sure how I'm gonna be able to pull this off, or even if I'm gonna be able to pull this off, I'm not gonna lie. But stick around if you want to find out. And this is also the perfect time to place your bets down in the comments. Will I be able to write 20,000 words in 3 days? And if not, how many words do you think I'll be able to write? Make your predictions now, and let's see who guesses right. Alright, as you know, we're in just a little bit of a crunch time, so let's just start writing. Could I have played my cards differently, baby? Could I have shown you how you wanted to treat me? No. Okay, so I just spent about an hour writing, and I eked out 500 words. Typically, this would be respectable progress for me, but given their circumstances, unfortunately, it's just not enough words. At this pace, I'm just never going to make it. Oh well. I think what I'm gonna try to do is go to a coffee shop. Hopefully, a change of scenery and a humongous cup of matcha might unlock my writing superpowers. Fingers crossed. Sky and the sights and the sounds. I've been needing a break, been bearing my weight, and I'm grateful. Take off, little sailor boy, and set for the sea. I've been craving the feeling of a cold ocean breeze. Can you take me away from this boring old place? Got me dreaming. Little music boy sings, cause it's all that he knows. Little music boy sings everywhere that he goes. Little music boy sings in his bedroom alone. Little music boy sings about things far away, about people and places that let him escape. Little music boy in his bedroom. I'm back from the coffee shop. And I have to say that went so much better than I expected. I don't know what it is about coffee shops, but I often find that I have my best ideas while I'm there. So I'm glad I went. I wrote 2,600 plus words in total, so about 870 words per hour, which for my slow as molasses self is pretty darn good. And the best part is that the section I'm writing is one that I would typically really procrastinate on, because it's very emotional and requires a lot of research. However, since this challenge is all about writing as many words as I can as quickly as I can, I don't really have time to overthink or procrastinate. I just have to sit down and write. And it's actually been so cool to see these scenes come to life, because I was low-key a little bit scared to write them, I think out of fear that I wouldn't be able to do the story justice. But now that I'm seeing them turn out well, It's just been really great. And I think actually this is one of the coolest aspects of writing challenges like this one, because they force you to write without thinking about it too much, and then action breeds motivation. Whereas outside of these challenges, I might only be writing if I'm really motivated or inspired, and that might never happen. But instead, by writing, I'm getting more and more motivated. So yeah, things are going pretty well today. I'm also just realizing that I completely forgot to introduce myself and my project. So let's fix that. My name is Valentina, and I'm a 30-something living in San Francisco. But as you can likely tell from my name and the accent, I'm originally Italian and I was born and raised there. Pizza. I have 4 cats and 2 YouTube channels. This one, where I'm documenting writing and hopefully self-publishing my debut novel, and a vlog channel called Comfy Era. The book I'm currently working on is a sci-fi/fantasy novel with some romance and dystopian vibes called Project Gaia. If you want to know more about the project and 2 of our main protagonists, check out the first 2 videos on my channel. I'll leave them in the description below. In terms of what I'm working on in this video, I've been writing what I think might be the opening of my book. The reason I'm saying that this might be the beginning of my book is that I'm worried that it could be a little bit too shocking and dark for it to be at the very start. And I just wouldn't want people to DNF the book if they feel like this is too much for them. And yes, there are some challenging scenes throughout the book, but I feel like the one at the beginning might be one of the hardest ones to read. So I just don't know if it's a good idea to put them so close to the start when people are still acclimating themselves to the book. To give you an idea of what the issue is, I'll make a comparison to Blood Over Brighthaven, which, as you know, is one of my favorite books ever. Well, that book has an extremely shocking beginning, and I actually know a few people that DNF the book on the very first chapter because it was just too much for them. And honestly, I almost did that too, so I get it, and I just wouldn't want that to happen with my book. So yeah, I'm not really sure what I'll end up doing, but for now, I'll just keep writing. I hope that once I'm done writing the first draft, the right decision will feel a little bit clearer. The thing that's making me feel a little better is something I heard from Brandon Sanderson, which is that he always changes the beginning of his novels once he's finished with the first draft. So I think I just need to assume that the same thing will happen to my novel and just keep going without worrying about it too much. Anyways, the sun is setting, as you may have noticed, so I think I'm just gonna call it a day and see you all tomorrow. Ciao! So yesterday I had my COVID shot and I was pretty pooped afterwards. So guess how many words I wrote? Zilch. Nada. Zero. Nessuna. It was not good. So yeah, I didn't write as much as I wanted to. And now, the situation is looking pretty dire. If you were betting against me in the comments, you might be right. Because now I have exactly 2 days to write, brace yourself, 19,000 words. 19,000 words. Oh well. At this point, I'll really have no idea how many words I'll write, but let's do this. Let's get to a cafe and let's see if that inspires me and gets me in a better mood, because right now I'm just feeling a tad pessimistic.
Could have been a painter, could have studied law. Instead you are my paintbrush, you're my curriculum. Could have been a sailor, could have been an astronaut. Instead I drive for miles just to get to where you are. I saw you out in Leicester Square, thought about you in the shower. I paid to watch you stand up there and gave you all the power. You say she's a work of art. You pick her up from school, but she blows you off.
Okay, so we're back. And unfortunately, that was an epic fail. I was actually getting really inspired and wrote 900 words in just 30 or 40 minutes. But then the kind barista walks up to me and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to disturb you, but we're actually closing early today." And he was super kind about it too, and even gave me a free matcha, which was so nice of him and totally unnecessary. But yeah, now the situation is even more dire. And honestly, I don't know if you know this Italian saying that goes a mali estremi, estremi rimedi, which means, I guess, to extreme evil, extreme remedies. This is the vibes we're feeling right now. And I think what I need to do is take an extreme step to try to have some hope of actually finishing this challenge and not embarrassing myself in front of the whole internet, not letting you all down. At least the ones of you that were betting that I was actually gonna make it, I wanna give it my best shot. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna draw inspiration from Kate Kavanaugh, who did a similar challenge, and she was saying that you can speak a lot faster than you can write, and so dictation is the way to go if you want to write faster. And look, at this point, I am willing to try almost anything. So let's give this dictation experiment a try. And hopefully it's not too awkward. I really wish I wasn't filming this, but I am, so please don't laugh at me. Be kind in the comments. Anyways, I'm gonna stop procrastinating. Let's just try it, okay? Fingers crossed. I hope it goes well. Ciao.
Oh, what do you say? Forget the words of our day to day. Oh no, what do you mean? The world will stop as we spin our dreams. Oh no, 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 no. What do you mean? The world will stop as we spin our dreams. Oh no.
I am done with the first sprint, and I'm literally shook at how much I was able to write. Over 1,100 words in just 1 hour. I honestly feel like I've unlocked a secret writing cheat code that nobody knows about. So I'm pretty excited. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about is my accent. I'm a little bit scared to look at the text and discover that half of it is gibberish. What do you think? Should we check and see how the writing is turning out? I am really dreading this, but I think we should. Because if I dictate the next 19,000 words and then discover that it all reads like a cursed prophecy, I don't think I'll ever recover from that. Okay, so here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna read you an unedited sentence or two exactly as it came out, including the severe lack of punctuation. And then I'll quickly edit it to see how long it takes me to hopefully transform it into something legible. This way, if I realize that it's all more trouble than it's worth, we can just end the experiment early, no harm done. Before I start reading though, let me just tell you a little bit more about what I've been writing. I'll just say this. These chapters are from Tristan's point of view, and they tell the story of how he became a cyborg. Okay, here comes the raw sentence. Are you ready? Just choosing a random sentence. This bird was magnificent, and its body stood out so glaringly. Glaringly? Okay. I'm pretty sure that's not what I said, but oh well. It stood out so glaringly in the snow that Tristan wondered how this bird could even be alive. He would be such an easy prey. But the birds seemed completely oblivious to the danger it was in, and happily chirped as it hopped from is it flew, from capital B branch to branch, making the most beautiful sound. Okay. This definitely needs some work, and some punctuation marks, and some editing of typos. But you know what? At least most of the words made sense. Maybe it's actually not as bad as I thought it would be. So I don't know, maybe this could work. Let me just see if I can fix it real quick, and then we can judge. I'm actually gonna do it right here, just give me a sec. Okay, I'm gonna warn you, this is not the best writing in history ever, but it's better than before. Let me just redo what I got. But this bird was magnificent, and its purple wings glimmered so conspicuously against the snow that Tristan wondered how it was even possible that such a bird would be able to survive. He would be such an easy prey. And yet, the bird seemed completely oblivious to the danger it was in, and happily chirped as it hopped from branch to branch, making the most beautiful sound. Obviously, this isn't the best writing ever, and I know it won't win me any awards or anything, but you know what? It doesn't matter, because at this stage, I'm really trying not to be a perfectionist, and all I want to do is just to finish that first draft. And with that North Star in mind, I'm just gonna say that this writing is good enough, and we're gonna move forward. And I'm really gonna try hard to put the perfectionist in me in a box and tell her to come out later once we're in editing mode. And with that in mind, let's keep writing.
Forget the words of our day to day. Oh no. What do you mean? The world will stop as we spin our dreams. Oh no, 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 no.
Okay, I think we're gonna have to call it a night because my eyes are really struggling to stay open right now. I just feel like I have to pry them open or something. Progress was made, and that's all that matters. And I think the thing that I'm happiest with is that we're experiencing the world through Tristan's eyes. And so as he daydreams about the future or reflects on the past or simply goes through his day to day, we're getting more and more insights into the world in a way that I hope will feel very organic. I also wrote 7,000 words today, which is pretty incredible for me. And we're currently sitting at 13,812 words. So I feel like we need to do a little dance, you know? I still don't know if 25,000 is within reach, but you know what? It's less further than it was yesterday, so I'll take it. My brain is melting, and I'm about to just start switching to Italian because the words are not wording right now. So unless I want my mom to be the only one who understands this vlog, I'd better go. And I'll see you all tomorrow. A domani. Ciao.
I walked across an empty land. I knew the pathway like the back of my hand. I felt the earth beneath my feet. Sat by the river and it made me complete. Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting tired and I need someone to rely on. I came across a fallen tree. I felt the branches of it looking at me. Is this the place we used to love? Is this the place that I've been dreaming of? Oh, simple thing, where have you gone? I'm getting old and I need something to rely on.
It's 7:30 p.m. right now, and I have two choices. Either I'm gonna have to pull an all-nighter, which I really, really don't want to, at all, or I'm gonna have to somehow dramatically pick up the pace because I'm at 17,000 words and still about 8,000 words to go. I'm really bad at math, but I think that's right. It's also night, so if I'm wrong, forgive me. The point is, the situation is dire, and we're really gonna have to kick it up a notch somehow. I noticed that the two things that slow my writing down the most are either having to do research while in the middle of a scene, or just simply not knowing what happens next. And so, I've come up with a plan to mitigate both issues. The first step is going to be to imagine the scene using the Story Genius scene card, which I'll link down below in case you're interested. This way, I know exactly where I want to go with each scene, and hopefully that means that I won't have to spend as much time trying to figure out where to go next while I'm in the middle of writing. And then the kicker is that if I figure out that there's a scene that requires some research, I'm going to try and do the research before I start writing. I'm also going to time box it. Because I don't know about you, but I have ADHD, and what that means is that sometimes I just lose track of time, and then 3 or 4 hours later, I wake up from my hyper-focused state, and I realize that I spent the past 4 or 5 hours researching. If you have ADHD like me, you can probably relate, but basically for me, my biggest nemesis is something that feels productive but ends up being a time waster. And for me, research is a prime candidate because it is useful, but if you spend, many months doing research, there might be a point where you start getting diminishing returns. And that often happens with me, I feel. So yeah, instead of spending the next 6 hours accidentally researching how to create a new language from scratch or something like that, I'm gonna try to actually use most of that time to work on my novel. And since we're talking about using time efficiently, I'm gonna stop talking and let's get on to writing.
Everything I can for you.
I just completed my first writing sprint and my brain is already fried. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but in case you can't tell, I'm not a night owl. I used to be in my teenage years, but then I don't know, adulthood happened and I guess now I like sleeping. I'm not as cool as I used to be. But on the bright side, I am making progress, and right now we are at 18,542 words. So I only have 6,000 words to go. Yay. Anyways, before I can talk myself out of this, let's just go on to the next sprint because I really, really want to make this. And yeah, the more we write, the faster this is going to go. Let's do it. And I'll see you soon. Ciao. I'm at the end of the third sprint and I'm currently at 21,200 words. So I have to say, I am feeling pretty proud of myself. Even if I stopped here, and honestly, I am tempted to do that, I would have to be happy about it. Because, 21,000 words is pretty legit. It's almost half a nano. This is a lot more cozy. Now I feel more optimistic that we can do this. So I'm going to start writing soon. But the thing that's worth mentioning is that I'm also writing some of the most violent and emotional and scientifically complex scenes in maybe the entire book, because this is literally the point where Tristan gets transformed into a cyborg, and I want it to be as scientifically accurate as possible. So the perfectionist in me really wants to write this when my mind is fresh and when I feel like I can really handle the scientific jargon and everything. But the writer in me knows that I just have to keep going. Because at the end of the day, even if I wait until tomorrow, I don't think that the writing will be that much better. Maybe it won't be better at all, because right now I'm actually in the flow. And there is something to be said about writing when you're so tired that you can't censor yourself as much. So yeah, I don't know. I think I just have to keep going and trust that if the writing isn't the best writing that I've ever written, it's okay, because I can always make it better later. But at least I'll have something to work with. Okay, now that I gave myself this pep talk, let's do this. And I hope that if you're also struggling with perfectionism, that you can also release it today and just put yourself in some comfy clothes and then just do your best without overthinking it. It looks like we're also gonna get a kitten companion. One day I will tell you the story of this beautiful cat. Oh, I don't know if you can see him. He might be out of the screen. Almost. Maybe one day you'll get to meet him. Anyways, that was all I had. So now let's take a deep breath and let's keep writing.
Wish that I could stay in this moment forever so I can hold you in my...
Okay, y'all. The end is officially in sight. Every fiber of my being just wants to curl up underneath the covers and take a little nap. But I know that if I close my eyes, I will not open them until tomorrow. So we just have to persevere. Right now, I'm at 22,400 words. So we really only have about 2,600 left. And in the grand scheme of things, that's really not that much. We got this. I will say dictation has been amazing. And I don't know if it's because of how tired I am, or because when you dictate, you can literally close your eyes and let yourself imagine the scene. But at some point, I swear, I forgot who I was and I felt like I had become the characters. And all I had to do was just to describe what I was seeing because I was living it right there with them. So yeah, it felt pretty magical. It reminded me of that thing that Murakami says, that he mesmerizes himself to get into the right state of mind to write. And I felt like that's exactly what happened to me. I was in this liminal state between fiction and reality, and every word just felt right. It was an amazing feeling. Anyways, we're getting closer and closer to the 25,000 words. but it's also getting later and later. So let's do one last writing sprint and hopefully we'll make it to 25,000. Yo, I don't know if I'm dreaming or if I'm still awake, but I somehow did it. I hit 25,114 words, and I'm so proud of myself right now. I'm too tired to show how emotional I feel, but this is really, really exciting. Even though I didn't hit the 50,000 words, I still feel like I won Nano because 25,000 words is a lot of words. For somebody who has a full-time job, I'll take it. So if you wrote any words at all this November, be proud of yourself and know that you're pursuing your dreams and being true to yourself, which at the end of the day is all that matters. If you're wondering whether you should also do a challenge like this, I would say yes. Because for me at least, the magic happened when the lines between the story and the real world were blurred, and I truly felt like I was right there, just experiencing the story with my characters. And I simply don't think that that would have happened if I wouldn't have been writing for long stretches of time. So yeah, give it a try and let me know what happens for you. And obviously, when I say that you should write for long stretches of time, I'm not saying that you should write late at night or anything like that. It really doesn't have to be extreme. It can just be 2 to 3 hours on a weekend, you know? But yeah, try it and let me know what you think. I think the most exciting thing for me was discovering new breakthroughs and being surprised by them as I was writing. And one of my favorite breakthroughs was figuring out how Tristan meets the scientist that transforms him into a cyborg, because the way it happens is pretty shocking and unforgettable and perfectly encapsulates one of the key messages that I want readers to take away from this story. So I really hope that it ends up being this memorable thing that happens that stays with readers, not only when they're reading the story, but also after, when they put the book down and hopefully keep thinking about it. The other thing that I'm really proud of is that now I feel like I've actually written the most intimidating and hardest part to write, and hopefully it's mostly all smooth sailing from here. And now I'm really excited to move on to Gaia and get to know her. I feel like that part of the book is going to be really fun, and I'm just so happy that I was able to get there relatively quickly, because I think if I wouldn't have had this challenge, I probably would have procrastinated on these scenes a lot, and who knows when or even if I would have written them. But now the first draft is done and I can move on to the next portion of the story. Anyways, I don't even know if I'm making sense anymore, so I'm gonna call it a night and see you all tomorrow. A domani, writerly friends. Ciao! Buonanotte! Just kidding. I gotta remove my makeup, unfortunately. It's December 1st and NaNoWriMo is officially over. Honestly, it's bittersweet. I feel like I was just getting into the swing of things and then December just happened. How did this happen? I don't understand. I don't understand time. I don't get it. The good news is that we did just write 25,000 words, which honestly for me is a huge accomplishment. So I will take it and wear that proudly. And I'm so excited to continue this momentum into December. So definitely get ready for some more writing vlogs. If you made it this far, you're a true MVP. And to thank you, I'm gonna leave you with my best tips to nail challenges like this one. First off, the best technique by far was dictation, which as you saw, more than doubled my writing speed. I would definitely recommend giving it a try if you're in a time crunch. I used the voice notes tool in Google Docs, and I was pleasantly surprised with how well it picked up my accent. But if you're worried about things like typos, the advice I'd give you is to stop every few sentences and read what you just wrote so that you can fix any typos or missing punctuation marks right then and there while what you wrote is still fresh in your mind. The other thing that made a huge difference was doing just a little bit of prep work before sitting down to write. I am someone who is typically more of a discovery writer, but it's amazing how much more quickly you can write if you don't have to stop every few sentences to do research. In my case, my book requires a ton of research because I'm writing about a lot of things that I know absolutely nothing about. Doing the research ahead of time was super helpful. It not only made me much faster, but it also inspired some cool plot twists that I hadn't even foreseen, and I feel like it made the scenes I was writing more interesting and richer overall. The other thing that really helped was writing sprints, especially for somebody like me who is a perfectionist. Writing sprints were essential to make sure that I didn't waste too much time trying to find the perfect metaphor or researching the nuances of a topic ad nauseum. Instead, during a writing sprint, if I couldn't come up with the perfect metaphor on the spot, or I realized that there was some research that I still needed to do, instead of pausing, I just kept writing and left a placeholder to remind myself to revisit that part of the story later. This actually leads me to the next point, which is, you guessed it, use placeholders. I would recommend using this sparingly because I could see this being something that really slows you down during the editing phase, but it can really save you in a pinch if you can come up with the perfect metaphor and you don't want to disrupt your flow. I'll give you a small example to explain what I mean. So this is about Tristan, and it goes, he then took one last look at the kitchen, his eyes lingering on his mother's apron, the one with axe flowers on it. This is a very small example because I don't want to spoil too much of the story, but the point is that I could have spent 30 minutes or so trying to research the symbolism of flowers to find the perfect flower that had a special significance to the story, but instead I just moved on. At the end of the day, this isn't a major plot point, so I just left a placeholder, and I'm hoping that it won't be too painful to fill this in when I'm writing my second draft. The last thing I will say is that while I found the Story Genius scene cards helpful, I ended up not using them as much as I thought I would. And I think the reason for that is that I'm a discovery writer at heart. For me personally, there is just something magical that happens when I follow my characters into a scene and let myself discover how the story unfolds right alongside them. So at least for now, the balance that's working really well for me is to have all of the major plot points figured out while allowing each scene to breathe and to surprise me. Okay, so I'm just realizing that I must have talked your ear off, so I'll stop here. I hope this video was fun and that it inspires you to make more progress in your novel, because no matter how much you wrote or didn't write in the month of November, there is still plenty of time for you to write your story and share it with the world. If you made it this far, leave a cyborg emoji in the comments. And I'd also love to know what works for you to write faster. And if you know a lot about flowers and you have an opinion about which flower I should pick for Tristan's mother's apron, then please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you'd like to hear more from me, then definitely subscribe because the next couple of months are gonna be pretty epic. I'm getting ready to film a plotting video where we'll figure out all the juicy details of my story together. I'm also gonna be doing lots of writing and experimenting with some challenging routines, so that should be fun. And I have a couple of surprise videos as well, so yeah. Thank you so much for being here and for giving me such a warm welcome to AuthorTube. I can't believe that we're already almost at 100, and that means so much to me. It would be so cool if we actually got to 100 in this video. I really appreciate you all. Buona scrittura e a prestissimo. Ciao!